Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to talk about something super practical, how to build some GRC projects that will make your resume absolutely pop in the cybersecurity world. So let's be real. How do you actually get noticed? When you're up against literally hundreds of other people applying for that same job. It feels like a huge challenge, right? But trust me, there's a way. And here it is. It's simple, but it is so powerful. You build projects, real, tangible, hands-on projects that don't just say you have skills, they prove you can actually do the job. All right, so let's get right into the how. We're going to start with a 6-step blueprint that, honestly, you can use for pretty much any GRC project you can think of. And what's really cool about this is that it doesn't matter if you're working on a healthcare app, a bank system, or some government project. Every single solid GRC project follows the same basic recipe. And here is that recipe. Step 1, identify requirements. This is just figuring out what the business needs and what the law says you have to do. Step 2, map system assets. You got to know what you're protecting, right? So you define what's in your system. 3, conduct a risk assessment. This is where you hunt for threats and weaknesses. 4, select security controls. Based on those risks, you pick the right tools and rules to protect everything. 5, create documentation. You write it all down, the plans, the policies, everything. And finally, step 6, audit and monitor. You got to keep checking to make sure it's all working. We're going to see this in action in just a second.
Okay, theory is great and all, but let's make this real. We're going to take that 6-step framework and apply it to 5 actual projects you could start building for your resume like today.
And to make this super practical, we're going to base all our projects on one scenario. Imagine a small health clinic that's using an open MRS application, and it's all hosted in the cloud on Amazon Web Services. This gives us a really solid real-world setup to play with. First up, project number 1, creating a cloud security governance program. You can think of this as writing the Constitution, the main rule book for how security is going to work in this entire cloud environment. So for this one, you'd kick things off by figuring out the key rules. In our healthcare example, that's HIPAA for sure. Then you'd actually write the core documents, a main cloud governance policy, a disaster recovery plan, and then more specific policies for things like acceptable use or how you manage user accounts. What you end up with isn't just a stack of documents, it's a professional set of policies that becomes the foundation for the whole security program. Let's move on to project 2, doing a cloud risk assessment. Now that we have the rules, we need to figure out everything that could possibly go wrong. Okay, the key here is to be really methodical. You'll map out the system, look for threats, and then, this is super important, you'll create a risk matrix. This helps you actually see which risks are minor and which ones are the big, scary ones you need to deal with right now, just by weighing how likely they are against how bad they'd be. Then you suggest how to handle each risk. Your deliverable is a formal risk register and a full report. This is a true cornerstone of any GRC job. On to project number 3, compliance mapping. This is such a cool skill. It's kind of like being a translator between 2 different languages of security rules. And this slide shows it perfectly. See over on the left? You've got this broad rule from HIPAA that just says access control. It tells you what you need to do, but it's not very specific on the how. Now look at the right. That's a control from a framework like NIST 853, and it gives you a specific action, account management. Being able to connect those 2 things shows an employer that you can turn vague legal requirements into actual technical work. Next up, project 4, the cloud compliance audit. So you've set the rules, you've picked the controls, but are they actually in place? Are they even working? It's time to go check. This is where you get to put on your detective hat. You can run a mock audit using amazing free guides like the CIS benchmarks to find common mistakes in your AWS setup. You can even play with some of the built-in AWS tools or open-source scanners. The whole goal is to produce a professional audit report that points out the gaps and tells you exactly how to fix them. And for our 5th project idea, it's building out a full security documentation suite. I can't stress this enough. This is a huge skill, because in the world of GRC, if you didn't document it, it might as well have never happened. So here, you'd create all the big, important documents that make up a mature security program. You're going to write a system security plan, a business continuity plan, and of course, those super critical plans for disaster recovery and incident response. And yeah, templates are a great place to start. But the real skill here is customizing them so they perfectly fit our little open MRS clinic scenario.
Okay, you've done the work, you've built out 5 incredible projects. Now for the final, and maybe most important step, putting it all together into a GRC portfolio that's going to get you hired. The absolute power move here is to combine all 5 of these into one big, cohesive mega project. Why? Because it shows a hiring manager that you don't just know how to do one task. You get the entire life cycle of a security program, from the very beginning to the very end. And this is what that final portfolio looks like. You'd have your governance policies, your complete risk assessment, that clever compliance mapping worksheet, your mock audit report, and that whole suite of security plans. You can present the entire thing on a really clean, simple website using a tool like Notion. No coding needed, just your amazing work all laid out for everyone to see. So after seeing this entire blueprint and all the potential here, there's really only one question left to answer. Which one of these projects are you going to build first?